This Xpel 225 Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Head to Cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100x in NBA, NHL, college basketball, NASCAR, F1, and more. Sign up today using promo code RACE SGPN for a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. There's lefts, there's rights, there's straights, there's ups, there's downs. The trucks are going to do it all this weekend at COTA as we get ready for this Xpel 225. Cody, you know, I tell you, I know we always love ourselves some truck races, but truck racing on the road just adds that little element of uncertainty that we love in this series.
Yes, it does. I tweeted out, I just retweeted a picture of a COTA restart that I think NASCAR Chasm, maybe it was or some, I don't remember who it was, but someone, I retweeted it and it just shows the chaos of like 14 wide and cars is going every which direction. And when we talk about the chaos angle of things, Rod, this is why we talk about that. And we're going to get into that in some of these picks today. And we've done it in all three series so far because it can be crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. The only truck series road course on the schedule this year, Rod. I don't know if you'd noticed that. This is the only one. So, they kind of been cutting back the last couple of years. We only had two last year here at COTA and Mid-Ohio. But Mid-Ohio has been taken off the schedule. And so this is the only one this year, which is kind of an interesting dynamic, and maybe we'll kind of get into that where I don't know. It's kind of interesting that there's only one this year, and it's a little bit sad, but hey, that's where we're at, I guess. So got to enjoy it while we have it this week.
It is a little sad. I guess I didn't even realize that Mid-Ohio, I've been so, again, when you don't look at the schedule, you look a week ahead. Like I'm always looking just a week ahead. I'm not really paying attention to what's going on, but that is pretty crazy. Although this track, more dive bombs than seagulls in the ocean. I love that. Joe's Epilogue checking in the chat. Change your intro music to Tool. Look, I love me some Tool. Don't get me started. What do you want? Eulogy? You want the pot? You want Schism? What do you want? And then Joe wants to know how many laps will the tires last? Well, there's not that many laps to go around this one. So maybe one, two.
A lap takes 45 minutes. So exactly. I don't think that tire wear is too much of a concern here. I mean, they'll change them when they pit, but I think your fuel is more of a concern than tires. I don't think that tires matter too much. I did want to mention too, Rod. I hope that you're checking out all the other work that we do and checking out sportsgamblingpodcast.com because big upset today in March Madness. Oakland takes down Kentucky plus 725. I wrote an article this week, Rod, on upsets and some plays you should take, and that was one of them. So hopefully you tailed me on that because that was a nice little hit we had earlier. I had Morehead State in there too, which that one didn't do so great, but can't win them all. Plus 725 was a nice hit. So man, March Madness has been a fun day today. watching all the basketball games. Now I get to talk the trucks. I'm loving it.
NorCal represent. I love it. Cody raises the trophy. Yeah,
Was it? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's Oakland from California, right? Yeah, it has to be. What other? I mean, there's actually an Oakland, Nebraska. I don't know if you knew that. Probably didn't.
Oh, I didn't.
Nobody else knows that, but
no, it's got to be Oakland, California. So let's go. NorCal represent.
There you go.
Bingo. I'll take it. Even if it's not, I'm still going to claim it. So, so we are here to talk trucks. Obviously, this is the truck episode. Cody, we call it as we see it. Definitely not a fan of all we could get on the books this time. There's some good stuff, and of course you load it up like you do, but I didn't like it.
This week is weird because there is not, in the past we've had Zane Smith and Parker Kligerman and Carson Hoceval. Like, who's the road course guys in the trucks now, Rod? Like, and I think we're going to kind of get into this as we get, and I don't think the books know either. And so, we're getting to the entry list here in a second. Ross Chastain's in this race. He's a heavy favorite for probably a good reason, right? But man, it's like looking at it, it's kind of tough because there's not necessarily, and I think we found some good plays, but there's not necessarily one like, oh yeah, this is the road course guy. Like, I don't know. There just isn't right now in the truck series, and it's a little bit different. So, I don't know. It does feel a little weird, and I think the books also are a bit confused on that because it's like, what do we do? How do we price people? Everybody's kind of not too crazy because they don't really know what to do about it, and I don't think they're wrong.
Well, a couple of things are working against us too, and that's the lack of track history really on this already. And paired with the fact that you're right, Zane Smith has won 2 out of the last 3 races on this track. Oh, 2 of the only 3 races on this track, right. And he's not even in this race.
The truck is 3 for 3 because, no,
it's not 3 for 3.
No, I was thinking that Gilliland won the year before. I was thinking,
Gilliland, no, not in the 38 car,
he's in the 38 in the Cup car, so never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, it's and Todd Gilliland, guess what? Not in this race either. So nope. You can't, all the 3 winners of this track, or the 2 winners on this track in the last 3 races, are not even in this. So it's tough because you look there at all. Checking in with the chat real quick. My brother, he knew he wanted Oakland over Kentucky. Yeah, everybody knew they wanted Oakland over Kentucky when it was over.
Yeah, so I gave that bet out, and I actually placed the bet. And then in my bracket, I had Kentucky on a couple more rounds. So I forgot to pair my bracket up with my betting, but at least I won one of them, I guess.
I was going to say you won money, right? That's the most things. And then, of course, truck. Myron Kidd wants to know about Connor Zilch. Well,
he is, my goodness. We thought SVG was popular this week, Rod. This kid might be more popular in the betting community. We're going to talk about him. We've got something on him in a little bit. But yeah, definitely an interesting kid in this race, and someone we're talking about here shortly.
Yep, and then we'll go over all of the. We'll preview the race. We'll actually give you all of the entry list and all of the track stats that you need to know. So we'll do that. Let's do that. But let's first tell you about our Merch Madness. I know March Madness has started, but Merch Madness continues to go on. You're going to get 15% off of everything in the entire merch store that you want. I mean, there's Racing Gambling Podcast stuff, of course. There's also what you can see there. There's college basketball stuff. There's regular Sports Gambling Podcast Network stuff. All the merch that you want. Everything. 15% off right now in the entire store. What do you got to do to get that? Use the code MADNESS. Promo code MADNESS. Get you 15% off of everything in there. Again, I love me some hoodies. So those Racing Gambling Podcast hoodies, Cody's got one. He loves that. He wears it all the time. So make sure you get down over to the store, purchase your Racing Gambling stuff, and use the promo code MADNESS to get 15% off. Go there now. I'm not going to wait, but you should go there now. Let's talk about Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Peer-to-peer social betting is new, and it's a better way to bet directly against your friends or other users on not just sports, but politics, pop culture, and any other event that's got a verifiable outcome on it. You can do it. Plus, there's tons of fun social features that give it the feel of a betting social network. Not to mention, Cut offers the lowest VIG and gives you fully customizable odds, which means you can create your own bets. Cody has created a ton. I'm getting in there this weekend, I promise. I'm sorry I didn't last weekend. I will get in there this weekend. I will put some down on SVG. You can bet against me if you're an SGV truther, SVG, SGV, whatever. If you like that Jesus guy, I'm going to have some bets on him. You can go against me if you would like. Cut handles the payment side of things too, so I'm not going to skip out on you after you guys win all of my money, and you don't got to chase me down for the money ever again. There's social features like group chats, betting leaderboards, head-to-head history, user profiles, fan groups, and so much more. Plus, there's rewards. Get cash back every single time you bet against your friend or other users. Download Cut today in the App Store or over at cut.com. That's KUTT. Use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. You know you love us some Underdog Fantasy. We love us some Underdog Fantasy. We play it for NASCAR, all 3 series, Xfinity Trucks, Cup, all of it. It's got there. All you got to do is pick better or worse than the projected finishing position for the player. Stack up that multiplier and watch your earning potential go up to 100x. On some cases, look for that spicy chili. On some of those other sports where you're going to find a multiplier that gets you even more on the higher or lower than. It's super simple. And again, it's such a great way to get in on the action, especially in non-legal betting states. Sign up today with promo code RACESGPN to get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant pick-up special. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com. Find them in the App Store. Don't forget to register with our promo code RACESGPN to get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as that instant pick-up special. Must be 18 or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Chris Gino checking in. Gilly did win in 2021 in the front row 38 truck.
Right.
And I double checked it on the while you were talking there, and that was correct. So I thought, I don't know, because he raced the 38 some, he raced the 17 some. I couldn't remember which truck he was in, but I thought it was a 38. So I guess maybe we just blindly bet Lane Riggs. All right, we'll have a good evening. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Let it ride. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that.
Joe's epilogue also. Ben Rhodes is the play. I have a Ben Rhodes bet coming up. I will say, I don't think you've got any Ben Rhodes. I thought long and hard about Ben Rhodes because he is a former Truck Series winner on a road course. He's in that weird area of outrights that was tough to figure out. So I didn't end up playing him there, but I do have a different bet on him. Joe also saying Rod clearly has years of radio experience. Yes, Rod is a radio professional, and he is extremely good at these. Of course, if you listen on the podcast, those ad reads are live every time, and he pretty much nails it. So he is a true professional.
I used to say, because I used to teach audio as well at a community college, and I used to tell my students.
He's still teaching me.
Oh, well, see, there you go. I love it, my student. No, so I used to tell them that on the radio, especially commercial radio nowadays, you get 7 seconds of excellence. So you have to nail that 7 seconds, because you don't really hear DJs talk very much longer than that. You know, they're always usually like, all right, win your Disneyland tickets today. Go over to the website right now. Put in that promo code. Make sure you hit the Disneyland tickets, or else you're going to miss out. Here's Britney Spears. And then... or Taylor Swift, I don't know, whatever it is.
Britney Spears. It's obviously been a few years since Rod was in radio, but that's okay.
Does that age me? I'm sorry, because it kind of puts it into perspective how long I've been in the radio. But,
you want to do the entry list, Rod?
Yeah. So let me set the track up, and then we'll do the
Let's
entry
do
list
that.
real quick.
Good
So,
idea. This
is
why you run the show, not me.
Well, this is why I have years of radio experience. We are, of course, at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. 42 laps only around this 3.410 mile road course for a 143.220 mile race. 20 turns on this. Plus, there's elevation changes. Plus, Max Verstappen is going to jump in because it's an F1 track and he wants to get in on it as well. So, no, I'm just kidding. He's not on the entry list. Sorry, guys. He's not going to win this race either. But I'm telling you right now, this is a very technical track. Obviously, we talked about it. There's more dive bombs in turn one than seagulls jumping for fish in the ocean. So it's crazy. And there's a lot of wide open space that these guys try to take up. Unlike F1, track limits are not really all that much of a thing. You can jump outside of those all 4 tires can come off the track. But you got to be careful when you do it. But
there are some course cutting penalties. You can't cut the course, but yeah, not necessarily the track limits like we have in F1.
Yeah. Oh, Joe wants this. Hold on. Ready? Sunday, live from the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, the Xpel 225. You won't need the whole track. You'll only need the edge.
Wow. That's okay. Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much probably the high point of the show. So it's all downhill from here. Thanks for that, Rod.
You're welcome. Give us the entry list before we lose more listeners.
Yes, entry list, not in as beautiful of a wording or way as Rod says it, but there's 35 trucks entered, 36 spots, so every truck will make this race. We won't have the Alex Bowman debacle of last season. Jack Hawksworth is going to be in the number 1, the Tricon All-Star truck, if you want to go with that. Marco Andretti making a start for Roper Racing in the 04 truck. Connor Zilich, who we will talk about in a little bit, is going to be in the 7 Spire truck. 65-year-old Dale Quarterly. He's not really 65, but I think he is like 50. Dale Quarterly is going to be in the 12 Young's Motorsports truck. Carter Fartuch, I think is how you say his name. He is going to be in the 22. Ross Chastain is going to be in the 45 for Nice. So very notable, of course, Mr. Chastain, the watermelon man himself. And for our buddy Justin, Jack Wood back in the 91 this week.
What's crazy is that Chastain is the only Cup Series guy to come down to the Truck Series. There's a couple of guys going to the Xfinity, but he's the only one coming down to trucks.
Yeah, and we had, like, last year in this race, we had Alex Bowman and Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain, like a bunch of guys. And yeah, this is the only one. Even the one truck isn't a Cup Series regular. It's one of these other guys. So interesting. And this is the only road course race, like I mentioned before, too. So, like, if you wanted to get in one, this was your chance. So only Ross Chastain taking up on it, which I don't think. So Ross Chastain is we are going to talk about it, but he is the favorite in this race. But yeah, we'll talk about him a little bit.
Joe wants to know, is the prize pool that nobody wants to play it anymore? Because it's whatever. I don't know that anybody really wants to come down to the trucks in the mayhem. And then my brother wants to know, wait, Marco Andretti is running the race. He's going to make it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's in because we don't have enough entries to max him out. So yeah, Marco Andretti will be in the race. He's running part-time in that 4 truck. I don't know if he's doing any appearances in the 7 this year. I know he did some stuff in the 7 last year, but yeah, Marco Andretti's been kind of hacking it up in the Truck Series here. So yeah, that's where you'll see him this week on Coda.
Trying to bide his time until he can make it up to another level. But really, just to kind of wrap up this whole track preview and this race preview, like Cody said, I mean, when we were talking about this the last couple of years, we had guys that were road course guys in the trucks. And now I guess since it's a dying art, it almost doesn't matter to these truck drivers anymore to be proficient on road courses. So this can be a throwaway, which is why, by the way, you're going to hear some names that you haven't heard in a while, or you're going to hear some names that you've never heard before on this show. Obviously, by the way, that we're like, is that really how you say it? But that's why. I mean, so there's really nobody that's kind of cut and dry that, hey, this is the play this weekend, because, even you look back at the last couple of races here, like you said, Cody, the top 5 was made up full of Cup guys, and that's not the case this week. So,
but still won by truck regulars, right? Because it was Zane Smith, and it was Todd Gilliland before he was a Cup guy. So. I mean, I believe Ross Chastain dominated this race. Was it Ross Chastain or was it Kyle Busch dominated this race last year? Doesn't win. Again, to a similar thing we've had here lately with the Cup guys not necessarily winning in the Truck Series. It happened yet again there. So, yeah, I don't know. Rod, fantasy picks. Do you want to do that now, or should we do that after the break?
Let's do that after the break. And by the way, it was Kyle Busch that led 12 laps in that one. Which, again, on this track, when there's only 42, that basically is
dominating. Close enough, right?
It is. It's very close. All right, we'll come back with fantasy picks, and then we'll get to our bets as well. But let me tell you first, I hate buying tickets. Hate it. Cannot stand buying tickets to anything. It doesn't matter whether it's a concert, a sporting event, my next door neighbor's kids' t-ball event. I can't stand buying tickets. It's just so difficult. Like anytime I go on the app, I'm getting gouged. Sometimes I don't know if I can make it to the event until a couple hours before, or maybe even the day of. And I'm sitting there wondering, can I find tickets first and foremost? Second of all, are they going to jack the prices up because it's the same day? Third, are they even going to be real tickets, or am I buying them from a third party that is going to sell me tickets to, I don't know, the other show that's out there that I don't want to go to? It's also stressful. But guess what? Game Time takes all of that stress away, because not only are they going to give you the lowest price for last minute tickets, but they're going to make sure that all the tickets you buy are authentic. They're going to make sure they get to you on time, so you're not sitting there 2 hours after the event finally getting your tickets. Everybody's piling out saying what a great show that was, and you're just sitting there refreshing your phone waiting for your ticket. Game Time won't let you do that. Game Time will get you in there. It'll get you enjoying the show with everybody else. Plus, it's made for your phone, which means everything happens on your phone. You get those tickets on your phone. You're going to purchase it on your phone, all that great stuff. And not to mention, they're going to send you a picture of the viewpoint from where you're going to be sitting. They can't get it while you're sitting there, but they'll definitely get it beforehand, and you get to know exactly what you're going to look at for the concert or whatever you're going to go to. So listen, snag those tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CFBX for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, so you can buy tickets to watch us whoop up on the NASCAR betting preview show each and every week.
Oh, shots fired. Right. Usually I'm the braggadocious one and the one that's talking everything up. But Rod with the shots here. We did beat the NASCAR betting preview show at Bristol again last week. It was a close one. We had 363. They had 349. So just slightly edged them out, but increased our lead. We're at 1,393 points. They're at 1,218 points. I did get the little notification earlier that their show has been released. So I have not listened yet, but I will be excited to see or hear their entries and, of course, their takes over on the NASCAR betting preview show. So make sure you are checking them out. All right, Rod, we have got to select some drivers here. So we need a 1A starter. We have got Ben Rhodes, Chase Purdy, Christian Eckes, Corey Heim, Jake Garcia, Matt Crafton, Nick Sanchez, and Tyrone Majeski. Where are you thinking here?
Can we retroactively put Zane Smith in? I feel like look. So it's between Eckes and Heim for me, honestly, and I feel like I'm leaning more toward Eckes.
Do we want to burn either of those guys on a road course though?
But where
like
else?
that? Because we've only got 9 starts.
I know, but who else is out there in that list? That I mean, read that list one more time, because I may my old guys.
Rhodes, Purdy.
No.
Well, actually, Rhodes I think is the way to go. But Rhodes, Purdy, Eckes, Heim, Garcia, Crafton, Sanchez, Majeski. I think we do Rhodes here.
All right, put Rhodes
because we're going to we can use Heim and Eckes each and every single week the rest of the season on ovals.
You're right.
And Rhodes, we can use them here and there, but for safety purposes, I think we keep these other guys and their starts for later. So
safety first.
And Joe's epilogue agrees with us as he screams Ben in the chat. So we need 2 Group B starters. Tyler Ankrum is going to be one of them. Mm-hmm. I'll let you pick the other one.
Okay.
Brett Holmes, Daniel Dye, Dean Thompson, Enfinger, Lawless Allen, Lane Riggs, Matt Mills, Friesen, both Grays, Hill, Dillon, and that's it.
I'm waffling between Riggs and Taylor, and I feel like I want to lean on Rick.
Oh,
well,
I'm interested. I noticed that you have a bet on Riggs in a bid, and I'm interested to hear the case because he's got no road course starts.
No, he does not, and that's why I
mean, he's in the 38 truck that has done well.
That's kind of what
Joe's epilogue's vote is Thompson. Is Dean Thompson a good road course guy? I feel like you can't ever trust him.
I don't feel like you could trust Dean Thompson.
I did say I'd let you pick, so it's up to you.
Give me Taylor. I mean, look, the Lane Riggs case I'm going to make is flimsy at best. I would never take it to court. So,
and it's probably a good. I mean, for the price, again, it's one of those number bets, right? In chaos, you need. Yep. So, but I don't think for relying on for fantasy, I like Taylor as well. So, okay, let's do that.
You led me in that direction, Cody. I felt you.
I did nudge you a little, but it was your decision, Rod. Why is Ross Chastain not an option on here?
I don't think he would be. I mean, Kyle Busch, we know, was starting 5 races, so you could put him in the mix, but I don't think you would put Chastain.
Should be able to, why shouldn't he be added in here?
Well, because
I am going to put an asterisk on all of these if the NASCAR betting preview show guys are listening. I'm going to inquire if Chastain's an option, we're putting him in no matter what, because again, you save a start, you're getting a guy like that. So I think you do that. But all right, Group C starter, Rod, Bailey Curry, Jack Wood, Andretti, Caruth, Boyd, and Moffitt.
Oh, see that silence?
Where's the rest of the field? I guess that is pretty close. But
The radio silence should tell you what I feel about that group. Read it off one more time because I want to.
Curry. It's Curry, Wood, Andretti, Caruth, Boyd, and Moffitt. Caruth, I'm going to say let's save him because we've already used him twice. We've only got 7 starts left.
Yep. I don't want to use Caruth.
I don't love Andretti, but it's Andretti or Curry, I think.
Then let's do Andretti and just hope for the best because we're not going to use Andretti ever.
This is kind of just to pray for it. And yeah, he's a limited starter. So again, we're kind of save some of these starts for some of the other ones. So
we got a good enough lead to where we can take a chance on this.
Yeah, exactly. Mobile phones are not okay. I don't know what that means, but entry saved. All right, we're good. Again, if Chastain's an option or we can get him added or whatever the deal is, we'll plug him in and take anyone else out. So
beautiful. My brother Nick Sanchez is growing me. I like the kid. Want to like Daniel Dye, but I also want to punch him in the face. He's conflicted.
Daniel Dye, potentially
great cameraman.
Face. Yes, he's a great cameraman for Fox. They really embedded him on the inside. So
they really
Joe Zepelog also loving the debate of the fantasy thing, and that was the point of it, right? And shout out to Phil for coming up with that idea, thinking of that, makes us go through the process, makes us think about it. Go tune into their show when you're done listening to this one. Hear their process, hear how they're thinking about it. Maybe they're going to start taking some shots here soon, try and cut into our lead, play some games of, we think they're going to play this guy, so we play this guy. Who knows? It'll be interesting to find out.
That's the best part about the shows that we have. Neither one of us listen to each other until we're done. Like, and anybody, like we don't listen to our Cub shows. We don't listen to anything until we're done. Like, we don't like to be influenced by the other. I love this community because we have so much independent thought and we never want to just go off of what everybody else is saying. Yep.
It's beautiful. Well, the SVG bots are in the chat again. We'll have to work on getting rid of those. Hey, JDK, how's it going?
I absolutely love everybody in this chat. I love everybody in this whole thing. Plus I love making bets. So let's do that. Let's set up all of our bets. Cody, we've gotten the fantasy out of the way. We've got our winning lineup out of the way for this week. So let's do that. But let me tell you first about Champs. It's hosting a free March Madness bracket. I think it's still going on, so make sure you get over there for a chance to win $1,000. Plus, if you host your own March Madness pool on Champs, you're going to get an extra entry into that free bracket contest. Tiebreakers are determined by whoever gets there first, so make sure you register now. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/champs. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/champs. Win bigger by betting smarter this NBA season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NBA and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets, a revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Started using this mouse again on my laptop over here, and sometimes I forget what I'm doing, and I'll be right in the middle of an ad read, and I'm like, wait, I need to scroll. So if you hear me trip, it's because look, I just turned 48, so it's all downhill from here.
Rod's starting to lose it already. Yeah. I'm gonna feel like on the set of College Game Day here soon, where we're trying to keep Grandpa from going off the edge.
Go ahead and just get me my parka and like set
me him his headgear and let him say his couple words and shuffle him out.
Back in my day.
All right, Rod, you ready to get into it?
I think everybody else is ready for it. Whether or not we are is beside the point.
Hey, I've made a lot of money this way, Rod, so let's continue to do so. We're jumping right back on the Fade Majeski terrain, and we're going to continue to ride it until the wheels literally fall off of it. So I've got 2 head-to-heads. Overtime Majeski, going to take both of these. Christian Eckes, -110 over on Superbook, and Benjamin Rhodes, -110 over on Superbook as well. I like both of these guys. Look, Ty Majeski, not a bad road course racer by any means. third in this race last season, was 7th at Mid-Ohio. Go back to 2022, 30th place here. And then the main part of all of this, and this is what I've been harping on since the penalty, they've just not been the same team. It's been completely different. It was a 180 turn, and they have struggled and struggled and struggled since the deal at Milwaukee where they got busted with the tires, right? So since then, on non-super speedway races, 18th at Kansas, 19th at Bristol, 9th at Homestead, 14th at Phoenix, 10th at Vegas, 34th at Bristol. Again, was fast last week at Bristol, just like I said he would be on the show, Rod. The piano fell out of the sky. Until the piano stopped falling out of the sky, I'm going to keep betting on the pianos falling out of the sky. So this is both a combination of I just don't trust Majeski. I don't trust where they're at. I don't trust his headspace. I don't trust the team right now. And so I'm putting that part of it out here. You go back, third last year, yes, but 30th in 2022. So some inconsistencies there. Again, small sample size, that's only 2 races. But he's not been perfect by any means. And we know how chaotic these races can be, and we're going to build in some of that later. But Christian Eckes and Ben Rhodes, I expect them to be good. So even if Majeski has a decent day, 10th place car, something like that, I think that these guys are both going to pass him up. So you go back to Eckes. He was extremely fast last season, but a transmission problem took him out, so he didn't get the result that he deserved. 3rd place at Mid-Ohio last season. You go back to, again, not a ton of truck races to look at for road courses. We only had the 2 last season. This is the only one this season. But you go back to 2022. He was 6th place here, 5th place at Mid-Ohio in 2022. And this is a momentum play on Christian Eckes. Look, he's in what could possibly, I had thought before, Corey Heim was in the fastest truck. Christian Eckes might be the fastest truck now. Again, we still have a couple, only a couple races in to see, but things are looking good in that McAnally camp. Things are looking good for Eckes. So he's been doing well. I like the momentum. He's coming off the win at Bristol last week. Things are pointing up for him. Things are pointing down for Majeski. So love that angle of it. For Ben Rhodes, again, a little bit of Joey Logano syndrome, right? One of the harder truck drivers to peg on a week-to-week basis. But 10th place last season, a decent solid run. 5th place at Mid-Ohio. 4th in 2022 here. 10th here in 2021. So 3 consistent top 10 finishes for him. Won the Daytona road course back in 2021. So we know he can get it done on road courses. And again, the fading Majeski angle worked so far. Why is it going to stop working this week? I think the things are just not going right for them. I'm going to keep fading that. And I also think Eckes and Rhodes are going to have solid days. So like Eckes over them, like Rhodes over them, minus 110 for each of them.
Much to my dismay, I have to back you on this because I'm no longer.
I don't know. I think if you disagree, it works better. So if you could disagree, I would appreciate it a little more.
Okay, fine. Majeski. I hear. You know what? No, I'm going with Joe. Majeski will play the piano this week. I love it. He will actually play the piano, and he won't have it fall on him. In fact, if it falls from the sky, he's going to jump up and start playing all the way to a first place finish. So there you go. Is that better for you?
That was beautiful. I love it.
All right, fine. But even though it's not going to happen, I hate the thing. All right. I probably will never say this name ever again on this show. So how about Jack Hawksworth? He is a British driver. And he will be driving this IndyCar guy, and a guy that's driven a lot of IndyCar in his career. In fact, that's pretty much what he's known for is his IndyCar. He did some Indy Light. He did some sports car championship as well. So a guy that knows his way around, courses that do more than just right turns or left turns. Well, right turns too. I don't know, whatever. But he does have one Truck Series start, or he actually has one Xfinity Series start. Lexi. No, not
Lexi
the red.
not the red coats.
Sorry. I know they're coming over to take over NASCAR as well. We did well to get rid of them, as a country, but they're back on the track. So, but no, he does have one start in the Xfinity Series. He started at Mid-Ohio, and in the Xfinity Series in Mid-Ohio, he started 2nd in that race for a guy that literally was making his first shades of SVG. Anyone? He made his first Xfinity there and started 2nd. Ended up finishing 15th in that race, but he did lead 5 laps in that race. I mean, he was, of course, in the 18 car, a Gibbs car, really good equipment. I get that, but he's in championship equipment right now in Tricon, right? He's in that one truck this week. He's not running a shabby truck. He's running good equipment. He's running the same as Majeski, who runs well until pianos fall on him. And then, all the other Tricon guys in there. So look, I'm telling you right now, I've got him to win Group A over on Superbook at plus 320. And I'm only really taking this because the number is plus 320 on a guy that, again, had a top 15 finish in his only Xfinity Series run on a road course, right? So he's definitely got that going for him. So I like that. Who else is in Group A? Well, there's Grant Enfinger, which I know is a darling and a guy that's favored, but I'll tell you about him in a second. I got Raja Caruth in that group, and I got my boy Taylor Gray in that group. So I know it's difficult because you say, well, Grant Enfinger, he's a great driver. Yeah, he is. I get it. But 4th place, 10th place, 12th place finish on this track. Okay. I mean, those are all fine and well, but now he's in that 9 truck. And so far, we just haven't seen the Grant Enfinger that turns in good finishes week after week like he used to be. He's sort of disappearing in that 9 truck, which is definitely frustrating. And he's just a fringe top 10 driver in road courses at all, like an 11th place in his only other start at Sonoma, a 38th place. He had transmission problems at Watkins Glen that got him out of that one. So not good at all. Raja Caruth, he's only got 2 road course starts in the Truck Series. His only start here in COTA, he got a 13th place finish. Pretty admirable in the 24 truck. He does have speed, but I'm not necessarily all that high on him this week. I know, we've been on him for the last couple of weeks, but he's been solidly performing, but I'm not really feeling it this week on the road course. And then Taylor Gray, look, he's only got 5 career road course starts, and he's got no top 10 finishes in that stuff. He got a 26th place finish in 2022 here at COTA, on an 11th place finish last year at COTA. So again, promising there, but overall, I think this guy is going to come in and actually do pretty well. I think a top 15 finish is in the cards for him this week on the trucks. I think he's going to bring his experience on these twisty-turvy courses, and it's fun to cheer for him. So plus 320 for Jack Hawksworth, plus it's a kick-ass name, to win that group over Enfinger, Taylor Gray, and Raja Caruth on Superbook, plus 320. Give it to me. Give me the Brit.
It is a solid name for sure. I like it. I do have a couple of Taylor Gray bets coming up, but I think if you cash those bets, you won't be sad if you miss out on this one. So it might be a nice way to play off of it. I don't know what to expect from Raja with the newfound success, so we'll see how it goes this week for him. But yeah, Enfinger is a little bit disappointing last week especially. So next up for me, Rod, I'm going back to Christian Eckes. I'm going to take him top 5, plus 140. Christian Eckes should not be plus 140 for a top 5 over on Caesars. So I'm going to jump on that. I just got done talking about him, right? It was fast last season. Result wasn't there. Transmission problem, not of his own doing. 3rd place in Mid-Ohio last season. 6th here in 22. Again, more Cup Series guys in these last couple of races here, too. So keep that in mind with some of these finishes. 5th at Mid-Ohio in 2022 as well. Again, the momentum. Won last week. He's been fast. Love it. Christian Eckes all over him. Top 5, plus 140. And then you've got to build in some chaos bets, Rod. And this one actually, not necessarily, you don't need chaos. I think chaos would help. But Taylor Gray, who you just talked about, I'm going to take him for a top 5. He's 6-1, Rod, for a top 5 finish. And I get it, right? You mentioned it. He's got 5 starts on the road courses. He's never even finished inside the top 10. I understand. But we've seen a little bit of a different Taylor Gray so far this season. Now, that was at Vegas. That was at Bristol. I understand that neither of these tracks are comparable to this week at a road course, right? But we don't, there's no other road course to look at. This is only one. So I'm taking the momentum that he's had coming into the season. Is this a little bit of Ty Gibbs, right? Where Gibbs, did okay last season and loved, or, looked well. And then it comes into this season and he's picked up and he's done really well, right? Now Taylor Gray, kind of the same thing. Looked good, had flashes, learning. Now he's learned and boom, he's jumped up there. He's been running right with his teammate the whole time and in Corey Heim. I think that he can run well here. So he was 11th place in this race last season, which in and of itself, not bad at all. Close. And again, there's the chaos factor of these road course races where things can get crazy. If we get into these overtime, was it the Mid-Ohio race last season? Or I don't remember if it was last season or in 22. Either way, what did we have, like 14 overtime? I mean, I swear it just was like overtime for 3 hours where we just kept trying to get the race in. They're wrecking all over. And that's where some of these long shot top 5s can come in. So I think that he'll be a good one for that. But if you look at his career on on the road courses. You go back to 2022, he was 26th here in the start there, but then he was 15th at Mid-Ohio. Then you go back to last season, and he improved from 26th to 11th here at this track, and again 15th at Mid-Ohio. So solid runs there for Gray. Improvement for sure. Still a young guy, but I think he's gotten better. We've seen a lot of guys leave, right? The Zane Smiths aren't here anymore. The Carson Hosevars aren't here anymore. All these guys are gone. You don't have as many Cup guys. Again, finished 11th last season, but how many Cup guys were in front of him there? You take those Cup guys out other than Ross Chastain. You take out the Zane Smiths of the world. That's more spot moving up. Now, if he's taking this next leap, this next step, I think at 6-1, he's a really good value for a top 5. And could be a chaos bet, right? Maybe he puts himself in the right spot and gets up there. Could also just be that he continues the momentum he's built this season and just runs top 5 and gets it for you.
Yeah, and so I'm going to expand on that because my next bet also involves Taylor, and that's Taylor over Stuart Friesen, my favorite Canadian that's actually Canadian from Canada. Look, you laid out all the stats for Taylor, and I think really, Cody, what it's going to be, he is going to continue his momentum. I think he's picked up on something this season that is going to propel him to the next level over the next few weeks. And we're really going to watch a different Taylor Gray than we saw last season. So he's going to build on the solid runs that he's had so far and just continue to get that way. But for Stuart Friesen, look, here at the Circuit of the Americas, it hasn't been all that rosy for him. He's not really building on much. In 2021, a 17th place finish after a 16th place start, didn't really move up very much. In 2022, he started 7th. That was hopeful, right? We love us some Stuart Friesen. We love him in the top 10. He did finish in the top 10, but he finished 2 spots worse than he started in 9th place. And then in 2023, finished right around where he started again. He started 15th, finished 14th. There's not a lot of movement for Stuart Friesen on these tracks, and especially on road courses in general, right? He started 17th at Watkins Glen in 2021, finished 20th in that race. Sonoma in the trucks in 2022, started 10th, crashed out, finished 31st. Not a very good. Now, the only one that he's really got a good track record at is Mid-Ohio. So if this is Mid-Ohio, I'm taking Friesen over Gray all day long, but it's not Mid-Ohio. This is COTA. There's a lot more track here. There's a lot more to deal with for both of these drivers. And I think, again, Taylor just seems to have the momentum, whereas Stuart Friesen on these road courses, it's somebody that you would bet on a lot on ovals, or you'll bet on over the course of the season, but you just kind of have to stay away from him. And I feel like this is a very good matchup. And Taylor's minus 125 over Friesen. I know it's a little bit of juice, but of course, you only pay the juice if you lose. Lexi saying, of course, he's Canadian. His last name is Freezing. Yeah, you're
close
right.
enough. Freezing. It's
I
pretty
think
close.
I think it's another language for freezing. It's Canadian for freezing.
There you go. Canadian, French, maybe, but something. I don't know.
So yeah, give me Taylor over Friesen minus 125.
Yeah, I like this one again with Friesen. I looked at him because he's a long shot again this week, Rod. Taylor Gray 6-1. Friesen was like 750. But I was like, man, they're just like, what am I trying to build on here? And he's got some decent road racing in the past, but until we start to see something different, like just other long shot value guys I like a little more that have shown something lately, like a Taylor Gray. So I had Friesen penciled in there, took him out, put Taylor Gray in instead, and now you're taking Gray over Friesen. So much like the same conclusion I came to, basically. So I like it there. I believe it was Myron earlier asked about Connor Zilich. Zil. I think that's how you say it, right? Zilich. Might be a name that we need to get to know, Rod. This kid, 17 years old. He has been again, I've not listened to I haven't listened to the NASCAR betting preview show, but just from like chatter I've seen places and stuff, like a lot of buzz around him. I think he opened north of 40-1 and he's plus 650 to win now, Rod. Because people just went crazy on him, but 17 years old. So again, he can't even legally run on a lot of tracks in the series, and he's racing in this. He is signed up to race in the 88 for Junior Sports in some races this season. He's in the 7 Spire truck, again, kind of an all-star truck, right? That's been Corey LaJoie and Kyle Busch are the guys we've seen in that truck this year, and now this kid's getting in there, right? He is signed by Trackhouse as a development driver. Again, they've got their hands in all sorts of different pots, and this is another piece of that. So 17 years old. His list of accomplishments are all road course racing related, which is very important to note as we go into this. First American to ever win the CIK FIA Karting Academy Trophy. He's the 2020 winner of that. He's the 2021 Mazda MX-5 Cup Scholarship winner. He's the 2022 Mazda MX-5 Cup Rookie of the Year. And yeah, he just is a very accomplished at his very young age road course racer. So I'm going to take him top 3 number plus 220. One of these things where like I really wanted to be in on this kid, and then a lot of his value got tanked super early. I mean, the lines came out and then he just was bet down completely, and like not a lot of value anywhere out there. So I think top 3 is a good way to get on there. And Lexi pointing out he's not even legal age to gamble, yet you're betting on him. Kind of ironic. It is. But you might not find, he might not be available on all books, because there are some books that won't list people under 18. We had that with Taylor Gray a couple years ago, where we were trying to bet on him. You had to go to certain books and stuff because not all of them will list people that are under 18. So if you don't see him listed, then that's probably why. But I think that this kid is just so talented, and he's getting good opportunity here. He's in a solid truck. He's proven himself on all sorts of other road racing in the past. This is going to be a little bit of a different thing for him, right? Coming in here to the Truck Series, is going to be some beating and banging, going to be some chaos. But if he can keep it clean, I think at plus 220 for a top 3 is really the only value spot that's left on him on the board, because it's he's a very popular pick, but I think for good reason, because I think that yes, and Joe's epilogue saying Ohtani drove the odds down. Yes, I think Shohei might have got a better or 5 million in on Connor Zilic this week. So we're going to go with Shohei and take Zilic top 3.
I love it. Yeah, and Lexi.
KDK. I'm getting tired of having to defend myself, Rod. You're taking a guy top 3 at a road racing, even though he has no past experience. Yes, again, it's a value thing. It's a people around him thing. Go look up what is SVG's top 3 number in the Xfinity Series, but then take into account that Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson and AJ Allmendinger and Sam Mayer, and if SVG was in this race, although he'd probably be minus 300 to win the race because of how stupid the odds are on him, then I'd probably look at him more. But he's not in this race, so we don't need to talk about him anymore. But I love SVG, and I think he's done great things in the past on other series, but I don't think that means he should be maxed out at stupid odds.
But can he play footy? That's what I want to know. Can the guy play footy? Can he kick a goal from inside 50? Please tell me that. And yes, Lexi, I think Alanis Morissette would agree with you that it is ironic. I am going to take another guy with no road course experience in the Truck Series, and I'm going to put him inside the top 5, because 6.5 to 1 for Lane Riggs to get inside the top 5. I've told you before we even got set, my only argument in this is the 38 truck has won this race 3 years in a row. Therefore, Lane Riggs in the 38. I'm not picking him to win, mind you, but a top 5 appearance for a guy that is driving the truck that has won the last 3 races, the only 3 races on this track. I feel like you got to have to do something on him, right? Is Lane Riggs Zane Smith? No, not even close. In fact, in the Truck Series, well, maybe he is. Joe's loving it. Joe's loving the 38. Yes. But yeah, so Lane Riggs in the Truck Series this season, 33rd, 22nd, 10th, popped his head up on a short track and finished 10th. And honestly, listen, to me, I want to just go with a guy that I think at 6.5 to 1 can climb his way kind of up there and maybe get there at some point. Maybe he learns something. Maybe they set the car or the truck up rather to be something to where he can work with it. I will say though that in the Xfinity Series in 2023, he's had some pretty good starts pretty good finishes rather. 19th place in 2023 at Fort Worth, a 10th place in Vegas, and 11th place at Martinsville. Granted, yes, none of those are road courses, but still solid top 15 runs in the last 2 in the Xfinity Series and just outside there at the Texas Motor Speedway. So he can race. The guy can race. The guy can run well. The guy can do great things behind a car. Obviously, a lot of that success came in the late models, and that's where he kind of cut his teeth, right? 6 wins in the late models, 32 top 5s, and 67 starts. all fantastic things for Lang Riggs. So now it's just a matter of can he get this and can he survive all the dive bombing and get into the top 5? And it's 6.5 and a 1. If I have to make a case for anybody in this race, Cody, it better be the truck that won this race the last 3 weeks.
I mean, it's won the race 3 times in a row. That's the most compelling argument for Lang Riggs. Short tracks and road courses often compared for the braking. So there is that. JDK says he's sorry for getting that train rolling. There's been a lot of musical references so far on the show, so I'll give you my own musical reference. There you go if you're watching on YouTube. And then Joseph Vlogs, we convinced him 38, 98, and 99. I don't know where you got convinced of Majeski in any of that. Maybe the guy from Canada, he says. I did forget to mention on the Connor Zilich thing, too. He won the 24 Hours of Daytona and the 12 Hours of Sebring this year, Rod. So he's pretty fucking good at what he does.
Apparently.
Much like that SVG guy. So make sure you unload your entire bank account betting on SVG this weekend, and let me know how that goes for you.
Oh, for the love of God.
All right, Rod. Let's all take a deep breath here. I'm going to need you to suspend a little bit of belief with me, and I'm going to need you to not turn the show off and listen to why I am doing this, okay? There's a chance that this race is a complete and utter shit show at the end. We end up with 14 fucking overtimes, and they're wrecking, and it's just completely chaotic. That's likely the only way that these bets would be to cash. But for the number they're at, for the situation we're in, I'm going to look at them. I'm going to take them because I think that it is correct. I also need Wazoo to cover, and they need to step up. So I would appreciate it if they did. Keep me updated, Joe, because I just looked at the score. Not doing so great here. Okay. We're going to go to the top Ford market. Rod, again, much like a big group here, right? There is 2, 4, 6, only 7 Fords in this field. If you take 2 of the Fords in the field, they've only got to beat 5 other cars. In the 30 or trucks, in the 30, what do we have? 35 trucks entered into this. You can finish 29th to cash this bet, technically. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the bottom of this group. We're going to take the 2 bottom guys. We're going to take Connor Fartuch. When I was typing out his name in the document, Rod, on my iPhone, I typed in farts, of course, at the beginning of his name, and it gave that little the wind emoji, which is why I left it in the document there for you. You're welcome.
Whoops.
So I'm going to take Carter Fartuch at 25 to 1 the top finishing Ford. I'm also going to take Lawless Allen at 60 to 1 to be the top finishing Ford. Again, we've only got to beat 5 other guys. Ty Majeski's in there. Piano might fall out of the sky, so you know that could happen. Ben Rhodes is in there. Hardest guy to predict, Rod. Lang Riggs, I know you like him. Not sold on him. Matt Crafton, he's an old guy who doesn't like road courses. Okay, so Jake Garcia, he's been utterly disappointing this year for the expectations I had put on him. That's all they have to beat is just these guys. There's not Ross Chastain is not on this list. Christian Eckes is not on this list. Corey Haim's not on this list. Tyler Ankram's not on this list. All of these guys not on this list. I don't know if Lawless has finished a race this season, but it doesn't matter because as long as he finishes this one, he can cash this bet. So let's take a look at these guys, right? This Connor Fartuch guy, his name is just killing me. And of course, I got so excited about Fartuch that I lost all of my info on him. Here we go.
Well, Joe, I will tell you that Lawless has finished 3 races this year. He just didn't finish Daytona.
There you go. Didn't finish Daytona. Boom. There you go. Okay. This Connor Fartuch guy is an IMSA racer. Also, Rod, he's an instructor at the Skip Barber Racing School. That's where you go if you want to get better at road course racing. It's one of the top schools for road course racing in the entire world. Guys go there. Guys like Ross Chastain have recently gone there. That's paid off pretty well for him, right? He won COTA after going there, stuff like that. So Fartuch is a guy who's got a bunch of road course racing experience. Both of these guys are in Josh Rayum trucks. Not the greatest trucks in the world, but again, it's mostly a chaos build. When you're looking at Lawless Allen, and he's the longer shot of these guys at 60 to 1, and actually the case for him is not as bad. Now, he was in Nice trucks in these races, and I think that the Rayum truck is not going to be up to the Nice parts, but you look back, 2022, Rod, he finished 11th place. If he can finish 11th place here, there's a very good chance, even if all these other guys finish this race, he could be the top finishing guy. At 60 to 1, and he's got an 11th place finisher before, I don't care what the circumstances were for him to get to 11th. I don't care if everyone wrecked, because that's what I need for these bets to cash anyways. He's done it before. He was 17th last year, So again, he's kind of hanging out in the top 20. That's not bad at all. 17th at Mid-Ohio again last year as well. So not a horrible guy. And again, is Lawless Allen going to come out and beat Ross Chastain head-to-head? No fucking way he's going to, right? But if there's chaos, if some of these other guys, piano falls out of the sky, hits Majeski, Ben Rhodes has a brake issue or so, like a couple of things, and you've only got to beat a couple of these other guys at 25-1 for Fardich and 60-1 for Lawless Allen. Top Ford bets. Again, it's just a big group, Rod. There's only 7 guys in the group. You only have to beat 5 if you take the 2 of these. So you got to suspend a little belief. It sounds crazy. These guys are not going to go out and just kill everyone, and you're going to be like, wow, look how fast he was. What a great call. This is a build in case of emergency, build in case of chaos bet. And I think that there's a good possibility we end up seeing that. And I think that these guys could cash these bets. So Connor Fardich, 25-1, Lawless Allen, 60-1, top finishing Fords over on Caesars.
Well, and honestly, again, it's a dive bomb, a wrong dive bomb, and everybody blows up. That's the way this works. And at 60-1, are you going to care exactly how it happens? I don't think you are. So Lexi saying, again, I think you all got to bet on how this will be a cut bet. I think I'll put it out there. How many trucks
are still running at the end of this? Yeah,
exactly. Like what is it? Over 6 or over 7? I think maybe something like that. We'll set odds for that one on Bet. So check.
Come on, Wazoo. Let's go. Pull this out. What are we doing here?
What are we doing? Well, we're going to take Ross Chastain. The only way that I feel at all good about betting him is top Chevy at -110. Look, he can come out and win this race. He can. I get it. But at 2-1, there's too many. He hasn't done it. And he had that 5th place finish here in his only other start. Yeah, he started on the pole, but he still didn't win that race. Again, it's not a given that these Cup guys are going to come down and beat the field, right? So for me, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to take him as top Chevy and hope that maybe a Ford or a Toyota ends up winning this race and maybe he comes in second, right? And that's how we'll do it this way. If you look at the Chevys in this one, right? You got Mason Massey, you got Nick Sanchez, you got Marco Andretti, you got Connor Zilic, you got Grant Enfinger, Ankrum, Eckes. That is probably the murderer's row of this as well. But after that, you got Ty Dillon, Brett Holmes, Bailey Curry, Matt Mills, Daniel Dye, and then Ross Chastain. You got Thad Moffitt, Carruth, Parsons, Boyd, Purdy, and Wood. I mean, there's a lot more Chevys than there are anything else. But again, if he's so much of a favorite to win this race at 2-1, right, where everybody else is sort of hanging out at 5 or 4-1, like I would feel more safe taking him as top Chevy. And if he wins the race, so all the better, right? That means he's definitely the top Chevy. And he's top everything. That's fine. You almost win about the same amount of money if you bet him at top Chevy as you do to win the race. And like I said, there's a few names on there that scare me that could win this race, that could take that away from him to be the top Chevy. But there's also a couple of Fords out there that I think could win this race. There's a couple of Toyotas that I think could win this race. And so for me, I feel more comfortable thinking maybe he's going to finish 2nd or 3rd, or maybe even 4th or 5th, and there's Fords and Toyotas in front of him. And then, Ross Chastain still cashes this top Chevy bet. And like I said, it's literally about the same amount of money that you'll double up if he wins the race, but you make the right bet, you win more if he's just the top Chevy. And I don't need him to win to cash this for sure.
Yeah. I think, again, like you said, this is probably the way to go. Like if you're confident he's going to win the race at 2-1, maybe you just take the top Chevy at -110. And then if a Heim wins, if a Rhodes wins, if a Majeski wins, like you're still covered. And it's not that big of a difference. So, yeah, I don't hate it. If you're going to get in on Chastain, I think this is a good way. How many times have we seen it, Rod? These Cup guys don't just come down and dominate these races and win and it's over. Like especially if you get the chaos at the end, Chastain could lead every single lap until the last one, and then boom, he's in 30th because he gets spun out by someone that's going for it, much like he did to AJ Allmendinger in the Cup race 2 years ago, right? So we know how that can go. It's tough to bet that low of a number on a guy to win, and I think this is a solid way to get in on it, kind of protect yourself a little bit. The guys like Ankrams and the Eckeses of the world, you're going to have to worry about for sure, still being in that Chevy camp, but it does give you the protection from a few of those Toyotas and a few of those Fords as well.
Indeed. What's next, Cody?
Next up for me, I'm going to go to a different Chevy driver. I'm going to take Nick Sanchez to finish in the top 5, +225, Again, kind of just looking around, searching for a little bit of value on the board here. I feel like Sanchez is a solid guy for where he's priced at. So he's plus 225 to finish in the top 5. 2 Truck Series starts on road courses in his career, both last season, of course. 7th place here, not bad at all. 9th place at Mid-Ohio. Both great runs, solid days for Nick Sanchez. If he can do that again, I think he can finish in the top 5. Again, 7th place last year, only one Cup guy in here. So I think that Sanchez at plus 225 is a really good number. Again, I've got the Eckes that I'm super confident in at plus 140. I've got the Gray in there at the plus 600 for the long shot, kind of cast build. Sanchez is a guy, we've seen him. He opened the season good, right? Now on the super speedways, yes. Kind of died off a little bit after that, but his sort of teammate in Raja Carruth has done well at Vegas and did well at Bristol again last week. So a little pressure on him to continue to perform, I think. And I think he can get it done this week. He's a fiery guy. Maybe if he gets around Stuart Friesen, this won't be such a good bet because they're not exactly buddies right now. But I do like Sanchez. And again, look at the top of the board, right? Zane Smith has gone. Carson Hocevar is gone. We've kind of changed some things here at the top of the board. And as you're looking, there's not really the big true, like these guys should for sure be up there as much as there has been in the past, at least at this point. So Nick Sanchez, I think, is good value. Top 5 plus 225.
I got to think a guy like Nick Sanchez probably thinks that's a great thing for all those guys to be missing from this race, because again, it really compacted what you could bet on week in and week out, or because you saw that it was Zane Smith, it was Kyle Busch, it was all these guys that were at the top of that chart, and it made it very difficult for guys like Nick Sanchez, like Eckes, like all these guys to break through and do anything other than maybe run for 10th at this point. So I do like that angle. I think it will take a little bit for him to get there. So, I'll take that. All right. I'm going back to the winning truck because the winning truck number, because I gotta, right? I mean, at this point, I think I have to go back to my roots. And at plus money, I'm going to take the winning truck number under 18.5 at plus 100. I'm almost kind of, I almost think it's crazy that they're giving you 18.5, right? Because under 18.5 gets you Tyler Ankrum, which again, we've talked about him over the last couple of weeks. Just a fantastic overall driver. It gives you Taylor Gray, which if you think he can win this race, then that's one right there. But it gives you Corey Heim. It gives you Grant Enfinger. It also gives you Nick Sanchez, like you were talking about. And it gives you my favorite new British driver, Jack Hawksworth, secret agent Jack Hawksworth. That's who there you go. Secret agent Jack Hawksworth in the one truck. So I like that, especially the plus money. There's 3 or 4 really solid drivers in there that, while I may have poo-pooed Grant Enfinger, can still probably find a way to win this race. And if he does, and you didn't have anything on him other than this under 18.5, you're gonna be like, oh wow, great. I'm glad I had that. So again, for me, I just like the names that are under 18.5. I like the names that are over 18.5 too, but it wasn't plus money. It was pretty jacked up. So especially because Chastain is in that group, and I think that's what they were giving us the minus money for. So I'll hedge off of Chastain at a plus money price for winning truck number under 18.5 at plus 100.
Yeah, I don't hate this one at all. Because I'm taking a couple of guys that are over this number, but again, that's a good way to hedge off of it. So I like it.
Right. Thank you.
And,
Validation.
I don't argue with Rod on winning truck numbers. Also, I may or may not have been looking at what my ticket was on this Washington State game. I got it over on Cut, Rod, because I got a better number there. Joe's worried about -3. I took him plus 107 on the money line against some other unfortunate bloke that's about to lose his bet. So hopefully they hold on and continue to get this win for me.
Woo, beautiful. See, this is why Captain is so amazing. Speaking
of winners, Rod, should we get into the winners for this race?
I feel like I'm teaching you so well. Look at your segue game. So strong.
I've not been in radio in the past here, but I got
Cody's going to the paint hard with this segue game. I love it.
Here we go. Winners for me. Tyler Ankrum. Stole Rod's guy here. I'm sure you were sad when you got in the dock because I know how much you love Tyler Ankrum. But it's 6-1. Ankrum has been actually really good at this track in the past. I think that again, you go to the top of the board. You got Ross Chastain up here. Man, it's too short. Corey Haim's only 3-1. Then you kind of get into, Zilich is right there, which is crazy. But Ankrum right here, I think, is a good number at 6-1 over on Bet365. So I like him. Look, he's in he's kind of bounced around before. He's been in that 16 truck, been in some different rides. Now he is in the McAnally Hilgeman trucks, which are fucking fast, right? Look at Christian Eckes, and look at what Zane Smith did last week in one, right? So they've been fast, which has been great. He was 5th place last week, 2nd at Vegas. So again, while those aren't relatable to this, I think more so in the truck series where we don't have as much of the history. Now he's got some history and stuff, but the truck series, I think you can rely more on what are you doing for me right now, because it's much more, they're not the established Cup Series guys who've been around forever and all this. And while there is something to momentum and everything, what have you done for me lately has been well, and this team is clicking on all cylinders, right? Got the win last week with Christian Eckes in the other truck. Now Ankrum has been doing well here. Also, 4th place last season, again, behind guys like Zane Smith, not in the race, behind guys like Kyle Busch, up there. So those guys are gone, right? So 4th place, and that was in the 16th truck. 10th place at Mid-Ohio, nice solid run there. He was 7th here in 2022, 3rd place here in 2021, and also 7th place at Watkins Glen in 2021. So he has been running extremely well on road courses, continues to kind of show up, be in the mix. I think it's 6-1. Good value on a guy like Tyler Ankrum. Then Rod, Christian Eckes, 10-1, still over on Bet365. He's down to 7-1 on some other books, so I would get in on this one earlier if you can. Talked about him a couple of times already for a couple of bets. You know why I like him. If you don't, go back and listen to those bets, because that's why I gave him out earlier. 10-1, I think, is a great number for Christian Eckes. And then Taylor Gray, Rod. This is his week to get it done. 50-1. It might take some chaos. I don't know if we've ever hit a truck bet to win outright at 70-1 with some chaos before. Oh yeah, we did that 2 races ago. That's right. Again, that's why he plays these bets. It's not just giving them out to give them out. But I think Taylor Gray, again, is kind of no elite finishes on road courses yet. That's why he's still 50-1. But he set that pattern of consistently getting better and better as he goes. He's still very young, of course. And now he's on this. What have you done for me lately? Again, right? He's been looking extremely good in this truck. He's been looking fast. I think that's a good truck. I think he can put himself in position to be there at the end. I think there's a possibility he can even just race and win this race outright. But if he gets some help, if he, maybe 2 trucks take each other out, he's right there to capture the win, whatever the case is. I think that he is worth a 50-1 bet on Taylor Gray to win this race.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on that one, on all 3 of them, because listen, honestly, for my outright, I literally just threw something at the wall and saw what stick. Because look, for outrights, I'm at a loss, because it's definitely not easy to pick an outright right now. It doesn't feel like the kind of race that I really have this thing nailed in. So I went with Corey Haim, and it may seem like kind of a cop out, but I still think this number 11 truck has great things ahead of it. 6th place finish in his only other start here at the Circuit of the Americas after an 11th place start. So a good day for him there. But really what I zeroed in on, I think, and what kind of got me there to the point where I wanted to take him was his Mid-Ohio performance. Like in Mid-Ohio, he started first on both of the races there in 2022 and 2023. So he started on the pole in both races. He actually won from the pole, led 30 of 67 laps in that Mid-Ohio race in the number 11 truck. So, but in the 51 Kyle Busch truck, he had transmission problems after leading 3 laps, finished 26th. So I'm telling you right now, to me, really, it's only because I feel like we haven't seen the best out of Corey Haim so far this season. He did have 1 start at Watkins Glen in that KBM truck, 16th place start, 18th place finish. I feel like they got to pull something together. I feel like this is, he's got 3 top 5s, but I still don't feel like we've seen the best of Corey Haim. A 2nd, a 3rd, a 3rd, and a 6th. Like Corey Haim should be winning these. Cody's banging the drum for Corey Haim since day 1. So, I still don't feel like we've seen the best of him this season. I think it comes here. I think he finally gets a road course win. I think he outside of Mid-Ohio, like a true road course win, I suppose, at a normal road course. So Yeah, give me Corey Heim. He's 3-1. I know it's not sexy, but neither was Denny Hamlin at plus 550 last week, but he still won for us at Bristol.
Yeah, hey, if it hits, it hits, right? 3-1. I love Heim. Couldn't pull the trigger at that low of a number, but I'm not going to argue with it. You know how much I love him. You know how great of a driver he is. You know how consistent he is at always finishing up front. So he's going to be in the mix. He's going to have a chance for sure, and he could easily go out and be the best truck all day and win this race.
I agree. A couple of things in the chat before we do our recap. Lexi saying it'd be cool if you pulled up a screen of a list of truck numbers so you know what's going on. You know what, Lexi? You got my brain turning in that one. I may come up with something cool. I'm going to give myself more work.
Even just put the entry list up, I suppose, while we're talking about it, so people could see it too if they want. If you're in the Discord, that's a great place to get it because I try to always share them in the Discord over there. Bob Hockers tweets out the entry list as well. That's where I get them from. So you can definitely do that. But yeah, we can play with it. We've been taking suggestions, as you can see the nice background with the coda on it, as we had suggestions to change that up. So I like it. Wazoo, by the way, won. They did cover for our guy Joe. Kansas is about to fucking blow this cover, so that sucks. Hopefully they can hold off and win this game, because otherwise that's not great, Rod.
Well, that's all right. My brother, yay for Gray. Oh, who cares? I love it. Corey Himes outdrove Gibbs and Arca. That's true. Yeah. All right. So listen, it is now time to recap the bets. So get out your pen and paper. We're about to go over our bets. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, now's the time to screenshot our graphics so you can keep it for later. Cody started you out with Christian Eckes over Ty Majeski at -110. He also took Ben Rhodes over Ty Majeski at -110. I said secret agent Jack Hawksworth would win Group A at +320 on Superbook over Grant Enfinger, Raja Karuth, and Taylor Gray, but he'll do it stealthily. Cody gave you Christian Eckes as a top 5 truck at +140. Taylor Gray as a top 5 truck at +600. I gave you Taylor over Friesen at -125. Cody gave you Connor Zilich at +220 as a top 3 car or truck rather. I gave you Lane Riggs as a top 5 truck at 6.5 to 1. Cody said that Carter Farchis would be a top Ford at +2,500 and Lawless Allen at 60 to 1 for a top Ford as well. I said Ross Chastain would be the top Chevy at -110. Cody said that Nick Sanchez would be a top 5 truck at +225. I said the winning truck number would come from under the 18.5 number at +100. Cody said that Tyler Ankrum at 6 to 1, Eckes at 10 to 1, and Taylor Gray at 50 to 1 are our race winners. I said Heim at 3 to 1 would win this race, this Xpel 225 from the Circuit of the Americas. Got to love it. All right, everybody. That was the truck episode.
That was the truck episode. Joe Zeppelog wants to know if we rehearsed before the shows, Rod.
We had
I don't really know. I don't know if this show sounds rehearsed, but I think if you're listening to it, you should know it's probably not rehearsed.
373 rehearsals before this one.
True, that is true, and that's plus a few F1 rehearsals as well. So we've been doing it for a minute, and that's about all the rehearsing we need.
Yeah, I mean, look at Joe. At this point, it's funny because as we've done, man, we're coming up on 400 episodes, which is the most I've ever done in my life, Cody. It's really fantastic. But the chemistry that we've had from the start, Joe, it just clicked, and really, honestly, from there, it's taken off, and we feel so. I mean, I see Cody more than I see my family at this point. So,
Yeah, I see Rod more than I see my wife. So I don't know. Maybe she likes that. Actually, I don't really know. But he says no, just really smooth. And yeah, again, I mean, we've been doing it for a minute now, so we've got it pretty well down. And Lexi also says, thank you so much. First time watching live, totally worth it. We appreciate you jumping in the comments.
Yeah.
Make sure you click the subscribe, hit the bell too. It'll alert you when we go live. We're live for every show now. We don't rarely record without being live. So here we are. And I think that puts a bow on it. Let's watch Kansas go get this cover for us tonight and the night on a good note before my Huskers get their first ever tournament win tomorrow. Rod, I'm so fucking excited. We're the only Power 5 school in history that has not won an NCAA tournament game. Not something we should be proud of, but that ends tomorrow. I can't wait.
What sport is that again? I don't care. hate basketball.
Rod's not into the love basketball.
Not even a little.
Great sport.
Not even during March Madness. But all right. As we send everybody off to go fill out their truck cards, where can they find you outside of this space?
Follow me over on the X at @Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there, like my upset article for sportsgamblingpodcast.com that gave out Oakland to beat Kentucky today at plus 725. I'm going to have that for each round, so I'll have another one come out Friday, tomorrow evening, I guess, for round 2 this weekend. Make sure you're checking that out. And again, click the like, click the subscribe, click the bell, all the fun stuff that the kids say on the YouTube. And we'll see you tomorrow. DFS, Underdog, do it all over again.
Do it all over again. Another smooth episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. I'm on X. Well, I'm on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio. It's everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it's Sportsbook Review. Hey, if you like wrestling, I got another update coming out for the WrestleMania.
You don't want to watch basketball, but you're watching wrestling.
Hell yeah. At least with wrestling, when they fall to the floor, it's because they did it on purpose. They were trying to flop.
True. I do like fake sports. It's always fun.
Telling you. Anyways, check it out there at Sportsbook Review. Go back and watch the back road. I was on with Seth and Elliott chopping it up about Coda, the Cup Series as well. We'll be back tomorrow. DFS Underdog for all 3 series, my friend Glow. Yes, Joe's epilogue. I love Glow. That's such a fantastic show. All right, we digress now. We've already lost 95% of the audience. So for those 5% of you that are sticking around, we love you. You're the real hardcore ones. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, let's go racing and let it ride.